Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend, and thank you to everybody who sent in your Monsters Inc. pictures. We just loved them, they were brilliant. So we're going to start the week today with some birds, and we've got a robin for the juniors and a puffin for the seniors. So you can choose one or do them both. Let's start drawing. So we're going to start our puffin here with a circle, and the circle eventually will form his head. So I'm going to hold my pencil really lightly here, and I'm going to go round into a circle. It doesn't have to be, we're going to rub a lot of this out, so don't worry about it being perfect. There we go, so that's my circle. And from that circle, just here, I'm going to take a small line off, and on the other side, I'm going to take a longer line off. I'm going to go up to kind of almost halfway up there and take that off. And then I'm going to join those two with a line. So that's my first shape, circles, circle, two lines, and then joined across. Now I'm going to take a line down here, and it's at a slight angle, not much of an angle. And again, we will be rubbing this out, so don't worry, just nice and lightly. And then we'll take, this is like the breast of the puffin, so we're going to take that out slightly and down, a nice curve. Keep your pencil mark nice and loose there. So the final part is, I'm just going to put a dot there, and I'm going to draw a triangle. I'm going to take that to there. I'm going to take that to there, and that is the first few shapes. So pause there and get those shapes in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to adapt the shapes we've got here to create our puffin. And what we're going to do, you'll see this when you come to the paused bit of the guide sheet, you'll see this. These marks will be in red, and you'll be able to see where we've adapted them. So I'm going to come up here like that, and I'm going to take it slightly wide there. And in here, I'm going to take that line, and I'm just going to cut off a bit of the circle there. Taking that, it's almost on a flat there. It's a very odd beak shape of the puffin. That's what makes it so distinctive. So you pop in your puffin beak. And we've got the head coming down here like that. That will just pretty much stay the same. But here on the back, from the triangle, I want us to take it in there and out. So you're bringing it in a curve. And then here at the bottom, we've got another curve that comes round. Like that. Now, popping in this, because he's got this black wing here, if we take a line up there and then out to there and round, actually it's probably more like that, and then coming down. And to finish off this stage, we've got the legs. So coming in here, I've got starting with a straight line, then a curved line, and I want you to think about that line there coming in. Sorry about that, that's our dog. And that's where we're going to start for now. So now I'm going to rub out all those extra lines that I'd put in, to all the guidelines that we've got there. Get rid of all those, and then I'm going to put in the final few shapes here. So here I'm going to take it that bit to there. I'm going to curl that round, and on the beak there's actually a couple of little lines that we need to take down there. So we've got one there, and then another one here, and if we just take a few little marks there, and when we put in the eye, before we do that, let's just give ourselves a little bit of help with our painting by putting in those marks coming round. It's almost like a cape coming round here. And the eye itself is, we've got a line with a slight curve and another line with a slight curve. So we've got that shape there at an angle, and then taking that down there, and then we've got the oval in between, and you've got that distinctive puffin eye there. So here we've got everything we need coming in. Just have a little look to see, make sure you're happy with the shape of it there. And then coming down to the bottom, all we need to do is pop in our feet. And that's this kind of shape. They're quite funny feet, they're sort of webbed feet because they're puffins, they're seabirds. And to finish it off, I'm going to just give it, because otherwise he looks like he's standing on nothing. Let's give him a little rocky outcrop to stand on. Now we'll put some painting. So we're going to start here by doing the background with a lovely dawn sky, and I'm going to use 2 different colours here, 2 washes. So I'm really using, on my palette here, lots and lots of water and then tiny amounts of paint. So if I come in, I'm going to do one that's a pale pink. I've got very little, that's it, hardly any. I might even put a little bit more water in there. And then one that's a very pale blue. So, even that's far too bright, so let's go with loads more water. So when you want to lighten a wash, that's all you do is add more water, even that's still too bright. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and my water, and I'm going to carefully go around, just with water, go around the puffin, here like that, and I'm going to go around my rock, but I'm going to leave an extra little line there around my rock because I want to be able to paint the rock without it bleeding into the sky. So covering the whole of the background with water. This is going to give me, because there's already water on the paper, I'm diluting my paint even more, which is going to give me a lovely pale sky with those 2 colours. So a bit more water there. So that's it, the whole paper there covered in water. And now I'm just going to take my blue here and I'm going to drop it. Just dropping it here and there. And I'll go right next to the bird. But can you see it's not going over the lines? And because the water's already on the page, this is what you'll get. You get these lovely effects with watercolour. The work's all in the preparation. Actually putting the paint down takes seconds. So we can see as I put this, as it moves in to join with each other, what it's actually doing, the blue and the pink are mixing together and they're turning purple, which is quite nice. So just dropping a bit more pink in there. This will actually dry slightly paler as well. Get a bit more pink here. And there. And by just bringing it in together here, I'll make that last one sort of purple. But can you see I've left that little gap with the rock. Now I'm going to mix just a grey, tiny bit of black in my water like that, making sure that there's a small gap. I'm going to go around the feet like that. Now, if it starts to move in together, it will mix, and I'm really wanting to avoid that. So that's the first stage. I'm going to leave it to dry. It's probably going to take about 5 or 10 minutes to get this dry. Right, so what I'm going to do here on my palette is I've left this to dry. It's completely dry now, so and it really needs to be totally dry. So have a bit of patience. If it's dry, stick it outside. It dries really quickly in the sun. So I'm going to keep that blue for now, and what I'm going to do is take a touch of that blue and put it into the grey that I used for the rocks. Let's test that out. And it's given me a kind of bluey grey there. And all I'm going to do with that is use a little bit of it here on the... I'll get some water on my brush. And I'm going to go... Elizabeth's laughing at me because I've just put water on my jumper, paint on my jumper. I can't help myself. I always forget that they're actually real clothes. Sorry, you'll have to forgive us because Cooper's trying to join in. So I'm just putting a bit of the grey on his belly there. And the biscuit you can hear being chewed is not Elizabeth. It is, in fact, Cooper. Right, so here as well, I'm going to put a touch of yellow, hardly any, and I'm going to put a little bit of that grey there into it. Let's test that. Oh, that's far too dark. I really want it to be incredibly light. So when you want to lighten it up, I'm not adding white, I'm just adding water. I'm just going to put I just want a hint of yellow in there, not much at all, it's very subtle. Okay, so that's his little breast on there, and I'm going to take that here and just put a little bit on the face. And what I'm doing is I'm sort of adding shadow into the white here, there, like that. Okay, now I'm going to take this grey. In fact, I'll start again with another grey. I'm going to go, let's test that out. That's quite dark. It looks dark, but wait, when you see it going on here, I'm going to use this middle brush here. I'm going to go in with this grey. I'm not going to do the head yet. I'm just going to do the body. Going down, and I don't mind if it runs slightly into there. That's absolutely fine, no problem at all. I'm going to take it like this, and a little bit under there like that as well. So there's that sort of blacky grey in. Now what I'm going to do is do the same on the head. Around here and down there into almost to the beak. And then whilst that's still wet, I'm going to put loads more black in. I want it to be really black. And I'm going to take this whilst it's wet, you see, and I'm going to drop it in. So it's still got the paler grey, but we've also got this, what is really essentially black. And can you see the way that the watercolour there has left this lovely effect because it's nice and wet. It's not up here. It's dried really quickly up at the top. So what I'm going to do is just go in this really dark bit up here. Right, and then back to the paler grey. I need a smaller brush. So I'm going to take this and go back to that paler grey. I'll put a little bit of that in it. You need to be testing this, checking this out. And I'm going to put that eye there in the pale grey. We will come back to that. And then coming in here, and I'm going to put that bit of the beak there in with the pale grey. And I'm going to go and leave a tiny line of white there. That's there. Now I have forgotten this bit, so I'm going to come in and take the black down to there. Now this will dry quite quickly, so while that's drying I'm going to mix the colour that I want to use for the beak and for the feet, and I'm going to start with making sure my brush is really clean. Here I've got a bit of room on my palette there, so that'll do. And I'm going to go with this, let's go with this orange. All I'm going to do is just put this wash on the feet. And we're saving the sort of brightest colours till the end of these, with this really distinctive orange. I'm going to do the same on the edge of the beak. And then I'm going to add a touch of red into that orange just to redden it up a bit. I'll put a little bit of that in, not much, just a little bit. Get that effect. And to finish it off, all I need is to go straight into the black here on my palette, and I'm just going to pop in the eye. And that's our puffin. Hope you really enjoyed that, and please make sure that you send us your pictures. We can't wait to see them and enjoy looking at them together. So share them with us on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter pages. You can find us all at Little Art School. Tomorrow we're going to be back. We've got a very holiday theme tomorrow of a caravan, so we will see you then.